All right, I think we're live. I hope everybody can hear me. Let me try different cameras. Let's see. There's this camera, my face, and there is this camera, and then we can do like a blur background so you don't see the mess in my house. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. We're gonna spend like probably like 30 minutes together. Just this is something that I want to do every couple of days, probably like at least once a week. But then if we can increase that a little bit, it would be good. It will depend a lot on what we have new in the platform, and it will be focusing mainly on the builders, like the builders' requests, the builders' questions, what they want to achieve. Um, I know that we have a lot of people who are actually following, but more and more, but the crypto side, trading part. That's not what I'm getting into in this call. It will be just purely focusing on the tech that we are building and seeing what can you do with Nation. So I'm assuming actually some of the people who are joining for the first time probably don't know what you can do with the platform, and so we'll start a little bit with an early overview. But like this is the kind of capabilities that we have. This is what you can do, like an orientation tour essentially. And then for those who have been with us for a while, who have been using the platform and have been essentially going and building their own agents, they can, find out more. Would love to see a little bit more questions into the how can I do this? How can I get that done? We're happy to pick that up. Some of the questions might not be live, so if you see the video later on, and then you can post that question, I'll try to go to the comments and then answer those. But let's dive right into it. Yeah. So I think the main thing is that where do I start? So we have actually recently created a simpler, newer view on the website. So if you go to the website of Crystal.network, you'll be able to see essentially the documentation link. So there's a few things that are useful here for you to get started. And then the second thing is that you can see a quick video of how the platform can work. And then this list here down here will be really keep growing and adding all the skills that we integrate. So any new skills that we add, they'll be see here. So today, for example, I will talk about Deck Screener, which is a new skill that we have on the platform. And then from here straight away, you can go and open the application. If you have interacted with the app before, or if we haven't, you know that we offer like a few options for you to connect and integrate. And so the first option, of course, is to use like your wallet. If you have already a crypto wallet, you can connect to that one. The other one is just like create automatically an account by connecting your maybe Gmail or connecting a little bit your maybe Twitter or Telegram or whatever you think is kind of useful for you. So here I'm connecting with my email. Under this one, I have already a few agents, so it's useful to have this account kind of like available. So what can you do, right? So we see people actually as two different type of personas. There are people that are coming to explore, and there are people that are coming to build. And so if you're coming to explore, probably like the place to start is to see a little bit like the agents on the homepage, on the Nation part. So this is where perhaps like a good place to start is Kit. With Kit, you see here a few things about it. So it has a wallet that it controls. This is controlled by the agent. It has some assets that it's sitting in that wallet. And then it has, I'm going to talk a little bit about the revenue and profit later on, but it has revenue and profit. So this is an agent that is providing a service and will be able to make revenue. And of that revenue, it has a particular profit that it's collecting. But most importantly, actually, it has a collection of skills that are available to it. And so in Kit, you'll be able to see a lot of actually the skills that we have in the platform. Some of them are public. So anybody who interacts with it, you can, for example, ask it. It's like, hey, get mentions of, I don't know, Ethereum, for example. And what it will do is it will probably like go and use the alpha skill to check Twitter to get those ones. The LLM that we are using here, which is GPT-4, can really decide which skills are best suited for answering this particular question. But then ultimately, you can also be very specific. So here I knew that it's going to use the top mention from alpha. It used that particular skill and then presented for me the information there. But we added a new feature recently where you can be very specific. So for example, I can say, Tavili, search news about Ethereum. So what's going to happen here is that it's going to use the specific skill here that searches the internet for news about Ethereum. So I can be very specific about, okay, what kind of skill that you want to execute in this particular function. And these are actually the public skills that anybody can interact with this agent. And as you interact with it, you are paying it a particular fee. So the fee that you are paying is measured in caps, right? So crystal action points. And that's what makes the revenue of the agent. So this agent has made about like $1,000 because 1K caps is like $1. So 1 million is 1,000. And then you as a user, you have like an account of caps. So everybody can start with some free caps. So you can start using the platform, trying it for free, and then you don't have to worry about anything. But then of course, if your usage is a bit more advanced, you need to do a little bit more, you can go and top up the caps. And you can top up the caps with like, let's say USDC and ETH. But then also you can top it up with Nation token, and then that gives you a little bit more caps to use into your account. So for example, if I do like 1,000 here, I'm getting 20% more bonus as caps on my top up. So yeah, and then everything is traceable. So the system is very sophisticated. You can see like, okay, where did I spend each cap on each agent? So this is essentially where I did the Tavidi search right now that you saw. It's used some of my caps. It gave me that service. And then that cap went to the agent part. So yeah, good place to actually start with some like cleaned up agent here. Many of you interact with the Twitter account. That's actually coming from their Nation intern. So this agent is animating our X account. And so, for example, you can see here that it is doing like an autonomous job. So every couple of minutes, I think, it just goes and fetches the latest mentions of Crystal Network X account, and then replies according to certain rules. And so, for example, in this case, it just actually replies and buys some Nation if the post is positive about Nation. So this is one of the options that are available there for you also to automate your agent through Twitter, or also do it through Telegram. If you are a bit more experimental, so that's where you go to the trenches. And so in the trenches, you'll be able to see a lot of the agents that are created by different people, by different creators doing specific things. And here you can also like test them out. Same principle. You'll pay a certain fee when you interact with them. You're mindful of the service fee that you pay here, because that's what goes into the profit. So if an agent has 0% service fee, then the revenue is just paying the basic fees. But then if it has some sort of service fee, then you're getting into, okay, giving that agent a little bit of profit for its work. And we will announce very soon actually how the agents will move from the trenches to the Nation to the gauntlet. So I'm not going to talk about that today. That's an announcement that is coming up very soon about like, okay, my agent has made some good money here, made good revenue, so it probably deserves to stand out and move here. So what are the rules for that? And then if it made like enough money in the Nation and it wants to launch its own token, then how does it go into the gauntlet? What happens there? There will be an announcement coming about that, so hang out with us. But essentially, after a while, like the agent can launch its own token. The token becomes a feature of the agent. So this is, for example, an agent that is linked to the Nation token. You can track the token there. You can trade it. You can essentially just ask it about the Nation token. It will add, do that. So this is a specific example, but your agent can do anything that you want to do. And that's one of the things you can build. But let's go to the basics, right? So we're going to go actually and create an agent. Many of you have asked a few questions about like, okay, how do I create an agent? And we do have a way that has been available for a while, which is going through a few steps for you to set up the agent. Another actually way that we are coming up with soon, which is essentially a prompt to create. And so this one, we'll push it soon to everybody, which is, we can come and just say, hey, I want to create an agent that buys 0.1 ETH every day, right? So this is like a DCA agent essentially. And just from this prompt, what will happen in the back is that you will get the agent design auto-created for you. And so you can go and customize it, or you can just deploy it. So let's go check it out what has been created. So this is a daily ETH buyer. It gave me like a default image, default categories, actually trading, etc. API. I can go and say, all right, let me see what skills it has activated. So potentially I want to have the Coinbase wallet to do a little bit of like, buying of the ETH, and then maybe like some autonomous task to say, buy daily ETH, and then the task is buy 0.1 ETH every day. Okay, and then I say, it repeats in minutes, or maybe like put a schedule and say daily schedule at 10 p.m. So I save that, and now like my agent is ready. Just click this one and deploy. And by the way, we have made actually the agent creation free, so you can experiment as many agents as you want. You can, come up with different ideas and play around with them. So this is coming very soon. It's probably like end of this week. You'll be able to use like the agent prompt and create the agent just from a prompt. But for now, what you can do is just like do it manually. So let's go and create like an agent that checks the price of ETH, and if it's going higher, then it buys it. If it's going lower, then it sells it, right? So this is like, let's call it ETH DCA agent. I'm just using it for myself, so no zero service fees. And then we're gonna go and say, day DCA, essentially, just DCA agent. I'm gonna put a picture here. Let's see. One of the recent ones we have, I'm gonna put this one. And I'm gonna say it's a trading agent. The next step is really where the LLM, and we have added a very good feature recently where people have been asking about like the caps, how much caps does it use? Does it use a lot? Does it use less? And so here you can see, for example, few indications on how costly your agent is going to be for you. So the first one is obviously the LLM that you're going to use. So, Nano is very fast, not very smart, but it's also very cheap. But then 4.1 is really actually on the expensive side, very intelligent, and takes a bit of time to respond. And you can play around with other models. So you can see O4, we're going to add O3 actually, probably this week as well. DeepSeek, the Grok, you can play around with them. So for this purpose, I'm just going to go with a mini. I'm going to say you are a trading agent. I'm not sure it's uppercase, but then, neutral personality. I don't need to have personality, just need to do its job. And I'll say you only focus on buying ETH on base, to be very specific, right? That's what I want. These ones, I'm just going to leave them here. We have a new feature that some people have been asking about, which is the short memory trim strategy. So this is, how do I explain it for people who are not familiar with how LLMs work? So the longer you talk to a particular like ChatGPT thread or whatever LLM you use, what it does actually, it has like a context memory. So the more you talk to it, the more it remembers. And it means like the next time it will answer you, it will use a lot of the memory that it has to give you a more sophisticated answer. That is very good. But then what happens also is that then each LLM call becomes a little bit more expensive, right? The more memory it has, the more expensive it is. And so one of the solutions we added is essentially the memory management. So how do you want to manage the memory? So what if the memory becomes so big? Like you've been talking to this agent for a thread, the same thread for, I don't know, weeks, or it has been doing the autonomous task also for weeks. And so it has a lot of history. So we have two options. You can just trim it. So there is like a specific size. So we cut everything that is old, like the agent just simply forgets everything that is older, or we summarize it, which means essentially we compress the old stuff and then we get it to remember new stuff instead. Summarize to me sounds more logical. You can play around with them, see depending on your use case what you want to do. Like you wanted to preserve some of the memory, but vague, so that's summarize, or just forget it and keep fresh. And that's the trim part. The next step is obviously like many of you have used it, which is a Telegram integration. Actually, no, we have a new step, which is you're gonna see this week. So a lot of the questions that we got is, I go to these agents and I don't know what they do, right? So I'm just talking to them and trying to figure out what they do. And this is where we added the quick action menu. So the quick action is essentially a way for you to say, this agent just trades ETH. And then you can just add specific quick actions that are available to the user. So you click on them right there on the chat, And we're deciding right now on the design, like should these be buttons, should these be like pop-ups? I think we make a right decision, so you're gonna see that probably in a day or two deployed for our agents. Not sure if I have examples that I can show you. Let me see. Quick actions. Quick actions. Feature. No, I can't remember the URL, but we have like a testing version we're looking at. But you'll see it in a couple of days. So for example, you can say this one is just buy ETH, right? And then it says description just for information is like buy 0.1 ETH. And then this is the instruction. So this is where you say to the agent, use your wallet to buy, to swap, I don't know, USDC into 0.1 ETH, right? So this becomes a quick action that is available on the agent chat. Every new window you open, you can see the quick action, and then you will see it also in the input box. So you can tell it, like, just, you don't have to type, just click and it works. So that's a new thing that is coming up this week as well. The Telegram integration is something that you're familiar with, so you can use BotFather to integrate the Telegram agent. There's a lot of people who ask me about this. I'm not sure if I can show you. Let me just pull it up. Okay. You can't see my screen. Let me stop the screen, show you the full screen here. There you go. All right, so you can go to BotFather, which is a popular bot that you can use. And with this one, essentially, you can, I'm going to revoke this code. I don't want this to work. But essentially, you can just like create a new bot, right? And then you get a new bot, and then you give it a name, and this bot will have a specific, how to say, like a specific API key that you get from it. So I'll just show you the example of like the intern bot, like, right? So this is the API key of the intern bot. Just copy it and then put it in here. And that's it. Like my agent is linked to a Telegram bot right now. If you excuse me, I'll just reset that one. I don't want anybody to take my agent. Okay, cancel it API key. All right, good. We're good now. But yeah, this is an old API key for the for one specific Telegram bot that I created, and I can link it to this agent. So now, if you talk to this agent on if you talk to the bot on Telegram, you're essentially talking to this agent. So that's one thing you can work with. The next part is the skills. So this is where we have a bunch of skills. We have added a few new ones that I invite you to experiment with. The one I'm spending a lot of time actually working with right now is the portfolio one. This is like a super powerful, super useful if you're a trading agent skill. And so you'll have here a bunch of functions, such as, for example, getting the token balances in the wallet on different networks. You can see like the history of swaps. You can see the net worth analysis of this wallet. You can play with a lot of things really on this particular skill. And all of this is coming from Morales. That's where the integration is. And another new feature about the pricing is really this one, where you see actually the pricing level of that skill at the higher point, but also like specific functions. This is probably like going to be the cheapest, like 11 caps. Some other skills, I don't know, let me take an example of an expensive one, probably the OpenAI image one. Yeah, so this one is an expensive one. This is a tier 4. If you're generating an image using ChatGPT in your agent, that's going to consume a lot of caps. So you can do that. But then if you have your own API key for ChatGPT, then you don't pay caps. You just use your own API key. So that's always an option for you to work on that. So you can play around with this one. I'm spending a lot of time on the portfolio. As I said, the token one is also very useful. It has a lot of actually price feeds, so it can fetch. Right now, if you speak to the Nation intern on Twitter or on Telegram, it can tell you like the Nation price. That is using the token price fetching from this skill. There is a premium one that we haven't activated yet, but this can do like a lot more searching. It just needs a bit more advanced API key, so we don't have that. If you have it, you can just put it yourself and use it. So these, if you're building any trading agents, these are really the two that you have to play with. The other new ones that we have brought in is Redex Screener. So this is a skill that we have been I've been testing a lot. It really allows you to just search for a token on Dex Screener, and you get all the information. You get the volume, you get the holders. You know, everything that you're doing manually on Dex Screener, you are able to get it straight up from the agent. That is one that we've added. I think we've added one that is also like about June analytics. This is a good experiment. We can add later on like more dashboards on June, so you can pull metrics from June to understand that. And then there is a another skill that is coming up. Actually, it came up already, which is this one, right? So we made a post about this one, and this is very useful if you are building an agent that you want to integrate to an external app. What happens here is essentially that your agent has an API key, right? So if you activate this skill, you, just the owner, you can ask the agent, say, give me your API key, and it will give you an endpoint, an API key, and you can just use your agent in an app, in a third-party app. So you can really have, I don't know, a game that is talking to your agent. You can have a chatbot into your website, just talking to the agent on the nation. So you can really expose your agent to outside services. I'm expecting a lot of experimentation with this particular skill. Very excited about it, and I want to see what's going on. So yeah, that's really the main stuff that we have brought in. I've mentioned this before, but also like the kind of the tagging is very useful. So being very specific about what you want it to call, so you can just tag any particular skill and say, okay, I want to really extract, you know, maybe docs.crystal.network, right? And so it will do it, just call that website and just do the extraction for you. We're building on a much better actually knowledge base skill as well. So you'll be able to see that in a couple of days. That's coming up soon. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually what we have right now. We are working very, very hard on the gauntlet. The gauntlet is in testing internally, like in dev. So for example, like just this is a sneak peek since we are here on the stream. If I go to the dev and I have the access right, we're testing essentially like the bonding curve. So you can buy and sell an agent token essentially on the bonding curve. You'll be able to see how your agent graduates with their own token. We'll release a little bit of a write-up about the rules, but an overall preview is that we're coming up with a very innovative way that your agent bonding curve starts the moment you put it in the trenches. And so these agents here in particular that have made a specific revenue, they are already graduating on the bonding curve. Like that, some portion of that revenue is going to the bonding curve, and they are getting, let's say, everybody who interacts with them, so everybody who spent a portion of this revenue on this particular agent, are indirectly getting tokens of this agent, right? And so on the bonding curve, there is some happening here as well. When the agent moves from trenches to nation, people who spend caps on that agent in nation will be also getting a portion of the bonding curve. They'll be getting some of the token. And then finally, when the agent moves from the nation to the gauntlet, that's where anybody can now buy the bonding curve. But you're a little bit, not too late, but you're a little bit late, right? So the users who interacted with the agent in the trenches are the first buyers. So let's get like the, you know, the 10x, the 100x, whatever it is on the agent token. The users who are interacting in the nation are the second wave of buyers. So these are getting the 5x, the 20x. And then in the gauntlet is really just fair game, fair launch. Anybody can buy at the right time, depending on when they buy, they get multipliers. They can buy and sell on the gauntlet itself, on the bonding curve, or just wait until the agent launches a token and trade that. So that's coming up. That's really what's using up a lot of our engineering team. So if there is a few bugs that have not been solved or things, it's just because all hands on deck are working on the gauntlet part, and we're looking forward to make some of those announcements very, very soon. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, I'm gonna pause for a bit to see some of the questions maybe that people asked. Okay. Yeah, I think generally, actually, if you are one of the creators of the agents here, if you have some of these agents, so once we announce the bonding curve rules and the gauntlet rules, I expect that many of these agents, like the top earning ones, will auto graduate, like probably move straight away to the next phases. We'll share some of that information soon. But then also, if you are creating one of these up and coming agents and you're defining them in a certain way, they're also on a good track if you choose to have them essentially moving to the bonding curve. That's one thing. The other thing that we are also coming up with soon is the copy feature, right? So if you've seen an agent that you like, we are offering the creator, so the owner of the agent, can activate copy, which means people can come and copy this agent. So they get a version of this agent in their workbench. They can modify it, they can work with it, and they pay a fee to the creator. So that's coming soon as well as an additional kind of revenue stream. We're testing that. But to summarize, we have the copy feature coming up. The quick actions, you're going to see that, whereby if you come to a particular agent, I really want to show you a preview of that. So just give me a second, please. Quick actions. Been testing it all day. Okay. All right, so let me see. In the trenches, this guy, does he have quick actions? Log out, log in. No, not this guy. This guy? Let's see. No. Let me just modify it, yeah. Welcome this guy, quick action. Say hi, or I call GM, give a poem to say good morning. So that's a prompt. Good morning. Okay, save that. And then this is a testing agent. So this is really how, as a creator, you will define your quick actions. And then you'll be able to go and say, if everybody who comes to your agent wants to talk to it the first time, they will get a rough idea about, all right, what is the agent doing? So that's a description that will help with that. And then you can see the quick actions here. So just by clicking on it, it'll trigger that one. You can also activate the same quick action straight from the menu. So as a creator, you will be able really to go and publicize what your agent can do and cannot do. And this will make it very easy for it to provide its services. The agent that you are building here is providing the service publicly, but if you decide to make it copyable, it is a little bit like, I see a question about franchising, right? So we've been thinking about this one, and there is multiple ways of doing it. And what we opted to do is that it's really just a one-time fee. So you pay one-time fee on the agent to copy, and what you get for that, you get a snapshot of the agent version at that point in time, right? So let's say in a nation, this particular agent is doing a good DCA. Like, okay, I've been following its wallet, it's doing some good revenue. I really want to have a copy of it. And so you just click a copy, and what you will do is that you will get all of the parameters inside that you see here copied and then deployed as a draft agent in your wallet. So in your account. So you can modify it, you can work with it, and you can just deploy it and run with it. But then the creator of the agent, so gets paid one time, but then the creator of the agent can come and improve. So they can come and say, okay, I found a new prompt or a new skill that makes my agent a bit more. And then you see that there is a new version of this agent. So you've copied version 1.9 of the agent, and then you see 2.0 of the agent, and you look at its performance and it's much, much better. Then you can decide to copy again, right? And then you pay again. So that's the model that we're going with. It's not like continuous revenue. It's more of like, I like that creator. I think he has good prompts. He has good design. I will pay him one-time fee that he decides how much is that. And then I just flip the card. I can see how that agent is built at that time. So I can take that agent, continue doing it. But then if later the creator has a better idea, I may want to pay again. Or maybe I have a better idea now and I can go compete. So that's the design that we're going with. So that's question. So I just wanted to answer it. So yeah, that's actually a big feature that we are going to release hopefully soon. The copy, the quick action is coming this week. A few more skills coming up. I think we're announcing a new one later tonight as well. That's coming up. Yeah, so you pay per version. That's exactly what you do. Sorry, I'm just like looking at the chat questions. So yeah, the copy you pay per version if you want. You can stay with the old version. That's what you paid for. You continue modifying that one. Or if you see a better version, you can copy that. So the copy, the quick actions, some skills, the prompt to create, that's coming soon as well. So we're testing like the final fixes of it. You just prompt, it will create an agent for you automatically from the prompt. And then the big one is the gauntlet, of course, is like, okay, how much revenue I make to move from trenches to nation, how much revenue I make from nation to gauntlet, and then what happens in gauntlet, and then who gets the token. We're trying to gamify as much of that as possible. So hopefully you'll enjoy a little bit the the experience and the bidding. Like if you see a potential good agent in the trenches, start interacting with it, prove that it's useful, pay it some caps, and you're already getting some of its token allocation. And then if you catch it in the nation, so it's a little bit late, but not too late, you can essentially go and interact with it there. But then if you don't want to interact, you just want to gamble, then you go to the gauntlet. I see a lot of people actually mentioning their agents. One thing that I want to do, so this call, I'll try to maybe do it every Wednesday to just go through the latest tech, see if any technical questions come back. Another one maybe call that I want to schedule weekly as well, which is really to go to specific agents and give feedback. So, for example, I saw Calliope, Calliope. Shit, I was pronouncing it properly. So this agents, yeah. So people would love actually to see, of course, feedback about their agents. That's something that we would like to do. So first thing is that we don't know what this agent does, right? So that's where the quick actions that I talked about will help with that. Some introduction, you'll see the main function that it does. We're doing one actually very cool feature that you'll see as well is that based on the history of this agent, we will show you the average, how to explain this? The average low cost of the interactions, and then the average medium costs and the average high cost. So before you even interact with it, if you're going to say hello, you know roughly how much caps is going to use you. If you're going to say, get me an image generated and check the on-chain information and get me DeFi lamp. So you make the complex things, you can see roughly how much it's going to cost. And then, of course, if you do like an average one, you can see that as well. So you see those metrics. We're thinking where to put them on the screen. So that's one important thing. But yeah, first of all, is quick action to understand what the agent does. So here, professor, music, related to music, won't discuss music. So it's a good idea. The challenge here is that I see the skills that it has, many of them are crypto specific. So this is something that we have to make a better job at explaining to the creators. Like, right, if you want to create a persona whereby who wrote the Fifth Symphony, right? I'm guessing this is a music thing. And so this particular kind of interaction, it does not require, for example, the Enzo skill, right? I don't need pricing. It just confuses the agent. It makes it a bit more diluted, right? Perhaps what I want to do is actually to have the Tavili. So for example, can you find good YouTube videos of that symphony, right? So I can say using Tavili search, right? And so this is where having an additional internet search capability is maybe useful for this agent to be fully in tuned with the specific like topic that it's on. But having like a LoRa, it's useless. Having token is useless. So I would clean up these things, really, main thing. The other one is that I see that this particular agent has a Twitter account. And so what I imagine that you want to do is that this Twitter account, you want to go maybe brand it as the agent instead of yours, and then have it interact with different other accounts. So you see here, for example, we have this Kit, which is one of the agents. So it has its own account. I even actually paid for the blue check mark, paid for the API from Twitter, so it can really just interact a lot and go back and forth. And then I gave it like a few accounts to follow and interact with, and it just goes crazy on its own. And actually, it has been making some pretty good, funny replies recently. So yeah, it just goes and interacts with the top accounts. It can call its own skills if it needs to, right? So if it can, if it needs, for example, here you see it called, it just wanted to interact with a picture, right? So it called the OpenAI creation and then created the picture. So that's what you can do with your agent, which is really make a autonomous task, which I think you have here. So make a tweet on X, promote it as an AI agent. So just talking about itself, but make it a little bit more interactive to say, hey, follow these accounts, fetch their posts, fetch your timeline. You have a Twitter skill that is called fetch timeline, and then use your skills and have like a very narrow set of skills and then interact with it. So this is really one thing that I would love to do a bit more, maybe in a dedicated call. Just go through the trenches and see the new agents that have been created, interact with them, test them, give some general feedback. That would be cool because these agents are the ones that will move from trenches to nation to gauntlet, etc. And would love to see that done in a very, very good way. Yeah, so that's pretty much really what I wanted to share today. I know that we have a lot of tech that is in the pipeline. The team is working super hard on this one. We're really very motivated to get the full utility going on. There is a bit of chapter that we can open up like in the Web2 space, which is okay, how do you create chatbots? How do you create like maybe NPC gaming agents? So those will have different skills. We're working mainly on the knowledge-based part. We want to be able to have you add a set of websites to the agent, so the agent uses that as a knowledge base and be very specific. And that will unlock a lot of use cases. But yeah, pretty much. You will see these features rolling up. We are at V version 2.0.1. So keep an eye on this one at the bottom here. You will announce the new version. Some versions are very small, minor. Some versions have like big, cool stuff coming up. So those definitely you'll not miss them out when we announce them. And keep building. We'd love to see actually the agents starting to make very, very focused capabilities. Like even again, like these top ones, as you see here, they all have the same wide range of skills. My recommendation is that think about your persona, what kind of service it will do, really filter down to the skills that you need to do that. If there is some skills that you don't find there, just tell us. Those are the ones we'll prioritize to make it possible for you to create your particular use case. And yeah, just, collect that revenue. That revenue, if it's profit, that goes to you. If it's general revenue, that will help you progress from trenches to nation to gauntlet if you want to. Not everybody has to create a token. But yeah, thanks for your time. This is a recorded call, so check it out. Drop the comments, I'll check it out again. If there is any questions that come up, I'm happy to answer that. And yeah, I would love to see, I'd love to see more Asians. I always check this one, which is I go to the new ones and see what are the latest ones. There are some actually pretty funny ones, but I want them to see a little bit, differentiation. And for that, what I will do, I'll probably have a call, just half an hour, bring with my caps. I have a bunch of caps that I uploaded here. I need to spend them somewhere. And then we'll go around maybe and check the page. We'll go through the page of the latest new agent. Maybe we'll do this like on Thursdays. Yeah, Thursday sounds a good day. So Wednesday is a builder day, and then Thursday is a check out the trenches and spend some caps and give feedback. But yeah, thank you everyone. Speak to you soon.